is September 20th, 2019.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 120. I'm Seth Sturgill.
Oh my god, wait, that's so fucking September 20th and it's episode 120?
Yes.
Nice. Oh, and also I'm Todd Sturgill.
Didn't that recently happen?
Did it?
I think it did. I think recently it was like August 15th and it was episode 115 or something like that.
It might have been like that. That's like I just noticed it as soon as you said 120, I'm like, oh my god.
The synergy.
The synergy.
I'm empowered by it. No, it's episode 120, Todd. It's man, sometimes you ever just look at that number and just become daunted. 120 straight weeks.
By how much content? No.
The content. Of course, now that we've kind of figured out what the show is, really, now when I think back to it, I was like, when we started kind of develop the show in its true form, the way that it is now, I think that was around the 70s.
Yeah, I think just around that time.
And now we've kind of finally hit our stride, and we kind of know what the show truly is. Because in the early days, we just kind of talked about whatever.
Talked about bullshit.
Now it's truly lived up to its name. It's actually nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
We're not. Because before we were just like, let's talk about pizza this week.
I mean, I think that's the beauty of like the sideshows. If you ever do want to talk about shit like that.
Obviously, we get into some random conversations every now and then. I wanted to talk to you about something. Speaking of pizza, have you seen this shit? Before we get into it, we got a good show for you this week. We got plenty of news to talk about. We've got some juicy NPD data for the month of August that we're going to get into. We finally know about that weird Nintendo fitness thing we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. We've got some Pokémon-related news we're going to talk about. So we have some shit. And obviously, we're going to cover some Borderlands this week. So we got a good show for you this week. But I wanted to ask you, have you seen this shit, this weird eldritch creation that Pizza Hut has, this Cheez-It pizza?
Oh, what?
Have you seen this?
What the fuck is... Where's my phone?
This is a new creation from Pizza Hut. They have partnered with Cheez-Its, where it is essentially a box of 4 square Cheez-Its that are stuffed with like cheese and pepperoni, and you like dip it in marinara sauce.
Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck is this hell?
It's fucked up, dude.
What the fuck is this? I don't like the fact that that ass looks like a Cheez-It.
They've made it, but here's the deal. I've watched some reviews. So, I like the Barstool One Bite Pizza reviews.
Yeah.
He did a review of it. It's weird, bro, because it's not even, like, crispy.
It's floppy?
Like, soft.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
It's weird.
What was his review, bro?
Oh, he didn't like it. He did say something that I absolutely agree with as a Cheez-It fan, so... And it's something that I've never really articulated until I heard him say it. And I was like, you know what? He's right about that.
Oh, I'm probably going to agree.
The best Cheez-Its are the reduced fat Cheez-Its. Not because you're trying to like watch your weight or whatever, but because it gets rid of the oil factor.
And
they're a little more like toasty, and you taste the cheese a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel that.
And when he said that, I was like, he's right. So he's a big Cheez-It fan, so that's the only reason he reviewed him at all.
Dude, I hate everything about this. Like, I'm looking just at an image of it, and I hate it.
It's fucked up. And here's the more fucked up thing. So, Review Bra, the report of the week, he reviewed them. I watched his review of them, and he got both the cheese, the straight cheese, and the cheese and pepperoni. And the fucked up thing is the pepperoni's not even proper pepperoni. It's like diced pepperoni.
Oh, fuck you.
And it's like, ugh.
Fuck you.
And of course, Pizza Hut now, they fucked up because, like, they switched from their kind of house-made marinara to like a pre-packaged marinara some time ago, and I hate that, by the way. I miss the house-made marinara they used to have. You know what I'm talking about? How it used to come in that little plastic cup?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And now it's like this pre-packaged bullshit.
Yep.
So anyway, you get that. You got to dip your stupid Cheez-It in it. It's so strange, dude. I
hate it.
Yeah.
I hate that. So I also sent you a Snapchat just like as I was coming home today, at the time of this recording, of that pretzel bun Bacon King.
Right.
Bro, try that shit.
This is not an episode of Nerd Bourbon Eats, but I just wanted I I want to talk about just before we get into it. I had to just discuss these fucking gross creations. Have you seen the shit that KFC's like testing out? This
What
fucking
the fuck are they doing now? Because they always do weird shit with the chicken.
it's a donut chicken sandwich where the bun is just 2 glazed donuts.
It's probably gonna be pretty good. I'm gonna be honest. That's probably pretty good.
Do you think that just every now and then, like in Ethiopia, just they catch wind of some of the shit we do here?
It's like, oh my god.
It's just like, do you think they just catch wind of this sometimes and just get furious?
It's like they're playing God.
It's like, we're fucking starving here, and you're putting donuts as bread on a chicken sandwich.
Exactly.
You're stuffing a Cheez-It with cheese and pepperoni. This is bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
Anyway, I had to get that off my chest.
I respect.
Let's get into the show properly, Todd. As tradition dictates, we begin the show each and every week by asking, Todd, what have you been playing?
Now we're gonna jump right into with what I've been playing with the segment known as Monster Hunter Talk.
Cue the music.
Exactly. Now, last week, I have not fought Velkhana other than the simple of like you fight him before he powers up and you like push him back into Hoarfrost Reach or whatever. So now he is killed. I think I actually sent you the snap of his carcass.
Of his body, yeah.
Yeah. So ended up doing. I could have honestly. I'm gonna be honest. I could have easily soloed him. He doesn't seem like Velkhana was gonna be that bad of a fight. Ended up squatting up, and dude, I felt bad for Velkhana. I felt fucking bad. The squad that I was with, ooh shit, just
decimated.
Just fucking booty blasting. I'm like, man was just getting stunned left and right. He was just on the ground, just squirming and shit.
They're raping me.
I'll be honest, I felt a little bad about it, but and again, I've run into the problem of cool armor. Just don't give a shit about it.
That seems to be a consistent problem with this expansion for you.
For me, because again, it's just so. I'm wondering so that's where I'm at now. Actually, this is something I want to talk about. Is the expansion's kind of following similar beats to the base game. Where it's like you fight like kind of a like a big motherfucker in a way. But then right now I'm at the point now where I'm like I in a weird way I feel like I'm at the high rank of master rank. You feel me? So now I'm like hunting the elder dragons again, and they're the variant elder dragons.
Okay.
And right now I'm currently on Black Veil Valhazak, which is the first one of that. And I'm more than likely going to have to solo this one because it's just I want to do it as a group just because I feel like it could be easier. But it's getting to the point now where I'm thinking I'm going to have to solo it because motherfuckers are just carting left and right. And that's just Valhazak in general because Valhazak is that very annoying you fought him, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know the deal. Like, he has the thing is
the
now you're
fighting
the health reduction. You got to have null berries. You got to sit there and make sure you can heal yourself. And it's obviously he does a little more. That's the deal with these variants is they definitely do a little like obviously more interesting things because his whole thing now is he can drop spores that make because you're actually not fighting him in the Rotten Vale. You're fighting him in the Ancient Forest.
Right.
And his whole thing is he has a constant aura of the effluvium, and he drops spores that make the effluvium, basically making it almost like the Rotten Vale in a way. It's cool. He's a very cool fight. I think he looks cool. I have seen pictures of his gear set. I don't know what the gear abilities are, but the gear set is like that shit. That shit is sexy as hell. I think I actually sent you pictures of Kushala actually, the Kushala set because I did go into a master rank expedition and solo a Kushala Diora, and it's a Kushala. It's not hard at all. It's easy. The only thing that's obviously annoying with master rank is I think like his flash resistance is a little higher, so you kind of gotta play around that and actually like hit him down with your weapon instead of cheesing him a little bit, which is fine. following the same beats. I'm assuming I'm gonna like go down the fucking rabbit hole and I'm gonna end up fighting. I think there's a variant of Nergigante. I think there might be. I don't know if there is a variant of like Teostra or Lunastra, but either way, I'm gonna end up going down that rabbit hole of fighting every single Elder Dragon in the game. And I think that's where Namiel comes in, because from what I understand is like Namiel is like the one I was kind of telling you about. It's kind of like that water thunder one.
Yeah.
It's technically the Coral Highlands specific Elder Dragon, from what I'm understanding. I mean, I thought Kieran was that, but I guess not.
But this is sort of Kieran 2.0 anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's an actual dragon, more so, not like a horse-looking thing.
Yeah.
Looking forward to fighting Namiel, honestly. I think that shit's going to be cool as hell. I do have to talk about the Dark Souls Invader 2.0.
Oh, is that a thing?
Seething Beetlejuice.
Oh, right.
So, I think I snapped you that, too.
I think you mean basil juice.
So, yeah. I'll be honest. I ended up soloing this fight. I didn't want to, but I soloed it. I actually didn't even die. So, it's funny. Is like, as I'm doing the expedition for it first. It's like, go to the Elder's Recess or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like going through, finding the tracks, and I'm just, misfired scales. I'm like, oh, shit. God damn it.
Could it be?
I was like, I already know what's coming. And for a second, I'm going to be honest, he didn't even look that different. It's like, actually, when you start fighting him, he starts doing some really cool shit. Mm-hmm. Really cool shit. Like, he, instead of just the scales, he'll actually throw out they look like flowers, and they're just bigger explosions. Dude, it gets unreal. Like, dude, the amount that I think he has like one attack that he throws out. They're like all over the fucking field that you're fighting him in. It's like shit. It's pretty. That's the thing with mastering, man. They just do a lot of like interesting, cool AOE shit because they just really want to booty blast you. That's Monster Hunter World Booty Blast.
Are you familiar with like have you sort of taken the temperature of what the community thinks about the mastering stuff? Because I know a lot of people like G rank, blah, blah,
I mean,
blah.
I'll be honest, from what I've seen, because personally, I don't think the game is actually that much harder. Personally,
yeah.
I don't think the content is that much harder. It's just things have more health. That's really what it is. It's more health, and obviously you do need to get the better gear. Overall, I personally don't think it's that much harder. Because I'm still like, there's still things I'm just beating the dog shit out of, like, because I ended up fighting Ebony Odogaron, which was a cool fight. I fought a lot of the variants now in the game, and now they're all fun. And I don't know, I think they're fun fights, and obviously I'll be able to talk more about it once I get further in, because I'm going to be honest, like, I honestly do not know how much more I have left.
Right.
Because it's just like the expansion just keeps fucking going. It's like Velkhana was kind of like the poster child Elder Dragon, but like I think there's more to it. I think there's like a straight boss I don't even know about.
Well, so Velkhana was essentially like the base game boss.
Yeah. I don't even shit. I'm trying to think what like that's probably maybe what it is, how the way they see it. Because here's the thing, even in the story, because the cutscenes, even in the story it says, "Oh, Velkhana wasn't the one causing it." So it's like Velkhana was like kind of the poster child for the expansion, but it's basically Velkhana was only the beginning. That's kind of
Velkhana was like the Zora Magdaros.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best way to look at it. Velkhana was Zora Magdaros of the expansion, and so now we're moving into the real shit, and I'm so fucking excited. Like basically I want to like just play more and more. And I have other shit that I have to play.
Well, you've had plenty of opportunity to play because we haven't our schedules have not aligned as well as we'd like.
Yeah.
Just because of both work schedules and stuff like that, and we have sort of decided. We talked about this on the show. We sort of decided that we were going to be playing Borderlands 3 kind of like exclusively as a co-op experience.
Up until basically like I think that'll end basically when we get to the first playthrough.
Yeah.
And then at that point it's going to like, hey, who gives a shit? But first playthrough, I'm definitely wanted to experience it exclusively with you So it's kind of been that's been a good way to just balance it, so I can just enjoy Iceborne and then Borderlands with you.
Yeah, which has been nice because I have another game that I've been playing solo as well. We were kind of taking a similar tact, and I'll talk about that later in the show. But I think that's a pretty good segue into Borderlands 3.
Yeah, shit.
Talk about some Borderlands. We both started playing this basically at the earliest possible time we could.
Dead ass. 11 on like Thursday, like the Thursday before it came out.
Now, we got digital copies. You also got like the diamond loot chest.
Yes, I did.
Or whatever, which I think you're still planning on doing an unboxing video of.
Yeah.
But we both got the digital copy, so we could basically play it immediately. And we literally watched it count down.
It was great.
To the moments when we were able to play it. So I am playing as Flack the Beastmaster. You're playing as Amara the Siren.
Yes.
And just, yeah, what are your just initial thoughts, I guess? We've probably... How long would you say that we've spent?
Shit, we're almost level 30, so...
Almost level 30. I would say, I mean, if I had to put a number on it, maybe 10 hours?
That sounds fair. Like 10, 12 hours, if that.
I don't know for sure. I mean, there's no in-game counter, I don't think.
Because, I mean, so it might be longer. It might be more like 15, dude.
Maybe.
Because I'm thinking, like, I think both the two first sessions we did, how many times we sat down? Like 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, I think 4 times, yeah.
So 4 times.
Each time has been several hours, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I know the first one was definitely like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like, first one was like 5 hours. The other one
15 might be closer.
Yeah, it might be more like 15. Shit, almost like around. I'm not gonna say 20. It's like basically between 15 and anywhere between 14 to 17 hours.
Yeah, so the point is, we've played a solid amount of the game.
Yeah.
Enough to know what we like and what we don't like. So yeah, just what are your sort of initial thoughts having spent some time with it?
I love a lot of what they've done with the skill trees. I like the.
Oh yes.
I love the wing skills that are like just automatically. You don't even have to spend them because they're just augments for your action skill or new action skills.
Yes.
And that's something new because your action skill is even like completely customizable at this point.
Interchangeable. Yeah.
Interchangeable. You can augment them to have specific abilities. To like, so one augment that I have is I think it makes when I do my action skill, it'll cause a nova, basically.
Right.
So that's something. And then obviously, like you can get elements for it. So it's like if you don't equip it, like I think my standard shit is shock damage.
Right.
But I have corrosive equipped. So, and also one thing I do love just aesthetically is I get because I have corrosive. The siren tattoos are green for me.
Yes.
And I think that shit looks baller because green's like one of my favorite colors.
And then like for me as Flack, like I have 3 pets that I can choose between. I can choose between the different action skills that are completely customizable. And yeah, I have mine set up where my Skag is like, he's got like I kind of do like, it's called Gamma Burst. And I kind of like summon him. He gets really big and does radiation damage to everybody.
And radiation damage is the new slag in the game.
Yes.
And
so that's really nice.
Because with Amara, I've basically gone like the tanky melee tree first.
Yes.
And that's been a lot of fun. Been having a lot of fun messing with that because it's like it is my play style. Like it's like a lot of the shit that I'm doing in the game is playing off how I play games anyway. It's like in motherfuckers' faces. So as I'm like up close, I do more damage. I melee somebody, I get extra damage. It's like yes.
Yeah, and I'm sort of building down the pet centric kind of damage heavy. I'm a little squishy, but I'm kind of building towards being not so squishy. It's very pet centric, the tree that I'm going down first. And I mean, hell, we're both like basically at the end of our first trees.
Yeah, the next level, we're getting our capstones.
Yeah, so it's that's been a lot of fun. That's probably my favorite thing about the game so far is just the sheer amount of customization.
Yeah, even just character, even the character customization, the amount of like you can actually change they brought back the fact that you can change the colors of the skins, which I'd love.
Yes.
You can change your Echo has skins. You got emotes and shit now.
You've got a room that you can decorate. You've got, I mean, there's a lot of like little customization things. There's weapon skins. There are trinkets that you can attach to your weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, really, they've added a lot in terms of, like, customization depth.
Yeah.
And there's so many, like, little quality of life improvements that I really like, too.
Just within the first, like, 5 minutes of us playing the game, it's like, oh my god, the movement.
Dude, like, I was seeing people say, like, I can't go back, even to Borderlands 2.
I'll be honest, just within the first 5 minutes, I'm pretty sure if we recorded that, I think that shit came out of our mouths.
Well, it was basically, like, I was like, well, like, every other Borderlands game was basically just made obsolete.
Yep.
From the movement alone.
With the sliding, the mantling, everything just feels smooth in a way. There are some issues.
It does. Well, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that because I think the game has got some pretty major problems. But
yeah,
it's you know, it's funny because like just these little things that you just don't even think about. The fact that the loot is separated, if you want it to be, you can turn that off in the options. But
overall, I actually prefer it. I prefer it in a way.
I do too.
I don't have to feel like a dickhead when I fucking loot ninja shit.
Well, and it's cool too because like for us, like, oh shit, like I found this thing for the siren. Let's.
Oh yeah, we still help each other out. Like it's like if I get like something like you know like a class mod for like a Beastmaster, I know it's something like that. It's a tree you're going down. I'm like, hey, you want to check this out? Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, or like sometimes you'll have a head drop for like you know the other class or something, and we'll trade it to each other, and I like that. And that wouldn't necessarily be a thing if we were sharing the same loot pool. So I think it's a really cool addition. I like that a lot. Honestly, the fast travel, being able to really fast travel like to multiple points in these big open levels is cool.
It's funny is like the actual fast travel machine basically is you don't even technically need it. It's just a fast travel point.
Right.
That you need to activate at least once because at that point, dude, all it does is bring up your fucking pause menu basically.
Yeah.
That's dead ass all it does, which I think is funny.
But even that is like so much more convenient than it was in past games.
Yeah,
where you literally had to go to one of those points.
That's something that I really that is crazy when you think about it. It's just fast travel, boom, done.
Yeah, and there's some exploitative things like we figured out how like you can fast travel to the other person's vehicle.
Yep.
On the map, so sometimes you'll be off doing something. I need to run back and do something, and I'll just warp to your vehicle.
It's like sweet,
which is nice. So, speaking of vehicles, that Cyclone though.
Ooh, shit. So, PSA: if you're playing Borderlands, you're not using the Cyclone. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, you're doing it wrong.
Like, I mean, like the Cyclone is like normally I don't care. I usually just I'm like the gunner or whatever, or like we'll just get in the same vehicle. Fuck that shit. I like the Cyclone too damn much.
The Cyclone is a single person vehicle. It's basically just a giant wheel that has like 2 gun turrets attached to it.
I'm ready to see. We need to like see if there's other weapons for it.
Well, so that's another thing. That's another like layer of depth. Like you can hijack enemy vehicles and bring them back to Ellie, the mechanic, and she can salvage them as parts for your vehicle.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And we've kind of done that a lot accidentally, and there are even like special vehicles that are on the map.
Yeah, because we definitely at this point have gotten like I think 3 bodies for the 3 wheels or whatever for the Cyclone. I think we have a sonic booster, which I really love.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit in this game.
Each vehicle has got several, and that's to say nothing of like the vehicle skins. You can customize the vehicle colors and stuff.
You don't even really have to do a skin. You can just do basically what I just go into the color palette, just fuck with it.
Yeah, and I mean, and also on top of that, on the map now there are dead claptraps to find.
Yeah, dead claptraps, COV radio towers, Typhon, forget his name,
Typhon de Leon.
Typhon de Leon, the first Vault Hunter.
Yes, he's got like audio. He has 3 audio logs in all the areas, and if you find them all, you can access his cache, which usually has some pretty decent loot inside of it.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot to do actually. In the world does not feel empty.
And of course, there's still like echoes that you can randomly find throughout the game, like the game and shit. And
there, on top of that too, I feel like the mission variety is just a little more. It's amped up a little bit in this game.
Yeah, I haven't it's like I haven't like been disappointed. I haven't like, thank God, I haven't like, we haven't really ran into like some fetch ass shit like.
Yeah, I haven't found anything too bad like that yet. Where it's just like kill 10, blah blah blah.
Hold my fucking tongue! I swear to God, I like have PTSD when I think of like Hammerlock shit in Borderlands 2.
Oh God, yeah, that was awful. The big game hunt.
Holy shit!
To
Especially
be
if
fair,
you wanted to do, like the most annoying quest, just a tangent, is that one where you had to find the rare spawns.
yes.
Fuck that one.
Yeah, to be fair, we have not. Yeah, I know about some stuff that's in the game that we've not encountered yet. This is still very early impressions. We will certainly have more to say about the game as we progress through some more, but I just wanted to give our early thoughts on it since we have been playing it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, and you know, I wanted to ask you this. How do you feel about the villains, the Calypso twins in this one? They've got some big shoes to fill, obviously.
I think that's the biggest issue is like where do you go from Handsome Jack?
Yeah.
Like Handsome Jack, I can put him on a list of like top villains.
Right.
So I mean, have they filled the shoes? No, I don't. But I don't hate them. I think they're interesting. I think like lore wise, I think they're interesting.
Yeah, I actually really find the dynamic between the two of them interesting.
And there's like some heavy foreshadowing with like certain things going on in the game.
Well, because the basic setup of it is that the Calypso twins are basically considered like one siren.
Yes.
And the guy Troy, there's what is it? What's the girl's name?
Tyrene
and Troy. Troy is like a parasite basically to her.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they were essentially it was just implied that they were Siamese twins. They were conjoined twins. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of interesting in that way, and she seems like she has some kind of like rogue-like abilities where she can like drain Siren's powers.
Yeah, well, it's weird, man. It's like they both kind of have that, like we've seen. Not going to jump into spoilers.
Yeah, not spoilers, but yeah, it's interesting. They have an interesting dynamic as Sirens go. So,
I mean, Sirens are where the cool shit is lore-wise, so.
Yeah, and obviously there's like, there's multiple vaults to deal with in this one. I don't think it's really spoilery to say that. So it's kind of like it's almost like a race against them. Is kind of the structure of the story to get to the vaults before they do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I think it's effective. It's kind of cool how they've worked in the different gun manufacturers.
Yeah, they're actually like the fucking CEOs are like showing up now.
Which is interesting because the gun manufacturers have always kind of like played a background role. I mean, guns are obviously a huge part of Borderlands, and you kind of get to know like which manufacturer you like throughout the course of the series and stuff like that. Oh, I like Jacob's guns, and this gun does this.
It's not, when I think about it, I honestly do really like Jacob's weapons. Yeah. Jacob's is I think like now that I think about it, like it's like Jacob's, Tediore, and like Torg.
So we sort of know too, like in this one, like things like Atlas's weapons have like smart kind of homing ammunition.
Yeah, that's actually I don't know so the way that rocket launcher works is I can just fucking like laser guide it.
Yeah.
It's nice. I actually really dig it. I got a legendary Atlas rocket launcher. It's pretty nice.
And then like Hyperion has like shields on the front of their guns where if they absorb bullets, it like feeds into your gun's damage, which is cool. So it's little things like that. Each gun, and this has always been true of Borderlands, each gun manufacturer kind of has their own shtick.
Yeah, they basically took what they did a little bit with Borderlands 2 and just fucking even went further in this game.
Went further with it and actually involved the gun manufacturers in the game's story, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, really. Yeah, because at this point, we've run into like 3 CEOs at this point.
Yeah. Which is cool. I like it because, again, it's always been such a big part of Borderlands, and it's cool to see that sort of expanded upon. The lore here is interesting.
The fucking lore.
And I think the writing is solid. I mean, I haven't like there have definitely been some pretty laugh out loud moments.
Yeah, it's not like over the top. It's like not like it's not, what is it, meme lands as people would like to say.
It is not. That's the big takeaway I think is it's not meme lands anymore.
It's It's got solid humor. It's we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens later on.
The game definitely still has its like references, but it's not as over the top. I think people got really annoyed with Borderlands 2 because like it is just so filled with like references and everything and
pop culture and shit.
Yeah, and this game has a few little bits like that, but it is not over the top. And I think this game's focus really is about like really diving deep into player customization. Another thing we should say is I watched a talk with Anthony Birch, like the lead writer of Borderlands 2 a while ago, where he was talking about his biggest regret with Borderlands 2 was not letting the characters speak more. And that's a huge thing that they've doubled down with Borderlands 3.
Oh yeah, because there's a straight like our characters are like talking like basically if there's NPCs talking, our characters are talking essentially.
And it's interesting because you kind of get each of their like they are characters now.
Yeah,
they're not just blank slates.
Exactly. Shit, love the hell out of Flack.
Flack's got some good voice lines, but I like Flack's like demeanor in general.
Yeah.
Like there was a moment where he was trying to like comfort like somebody who had lost somebody, like comfort somebody after a death. And he said something like he said something to the effect of like do not fear death, like welcome her warm embrace at the end of your hunt or something.
Yeah,
like
it's some
that.
shit like that. It's like like welcome to death is like an old friend sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like even Amara, like Amara's got a good like she's like that sort of like almost like a she feels like her mentality is like almost paladinish in a way.
A little bit. She's got a little bit of like that cockiness.
She's cocky. She's definitely cocky, but there's a level of because again, like I think even in like one of her like the origin echoes that every character has that you find on the Sanctuary ship, which is it's not spoilerish. Fuck you guys.
No, I think that's been shown pre-release.
Something about like she's like because you can even in like the rooms you get like character things, you know.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like shit in like my room, Amara's room, like you see like boxing gloves and shit. Like this, what is like? Cause I think even her like what's her fucking nickname? Like the Fists of Partali or some shit.
Isn't it the Tiger of like?
Yeah, Tiger of Partali, and then it's like I'm assuming like she was like a boxer at this or some shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is cool, and like it seems like Flack was sort of like a companion to like a Grand Archivist, and he like malfunctioned or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and again, they've made the characters more characters. Let's talk for a second. You know, before we move into what we didn't like, I also really just want to talk about how much I enjoy the Sanctuary hub. In this one,
it's funny. Is like the first couple sessions, I kind of was like having issues, like maneuvering around it.
Yeah.
But now it's like fucking. I know exactly where I'm going. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Once you've really spent some time with it, you kind of get a feel for it, and you know where everything's at. So yeah, Sanctuary, as you alluded to earlier, is a ship in this one, and it is, again, that's not really a spoiler, but it's laid out like kind of like vertically. There are like different levels to it.
Different decks per se.
Yeah, different decks to it, and there are things to do on the ship. A lot of characters on the ship. It's got everything you need on there. It's got a new use station. That's where your golden chest is to spend your golden keys. Everything you need is there. That's where the new like Iridium shop is, which you now spend that to unlock cosmetic stuff. You can also spend it on like a new vending machine to get like gear from the Iridium vending machine. So that's cool. It's kind of like a new currency. It's not just used for upgrades in this one. Mm-hmm. Which is cool. So I really like that. I like how the kind of flow of it is like, let's go down to this planet. There are multiple planets in the game. I don't think that's a spoiler. Let's like go down into this kind of like planet open world. Let's do our thing. And then let's like go back to the hub to kind of like sell shit and like kind of, you know, do this and that. See what our new skins or headpieces we may have gotten are. It's kind of has a nice like gameplay loop to it, you know. It's a really, really solid hub world, and I like it a lot. But the game is not without its issues.
That's a good segue.
And here's my big issue with the game. And I don't have many. To be honest, the biggest problem I have with this game is technical. Mm-hmm. The game does not run well.
Oh, it's bad. I think you've had a crash, a couple.
I've had 2 crashes.
Yeah, 2 crashes, and I've almost crashed. Like I've sat there and like for a solid like fucking like 10 seconds, just screen frozen.
That happens to me all the time. I've probably had like 15 to 20 hard locks.
Well, it's like, and I had to like just sit there and like say a fucking prayer when I opened the menus.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like the menus are sluggish. They take forever to come up. And we're both playing on PS4 Pros, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the menus take forever to come up. They're hard to navigate. It's like fucked up. I actually like don't understand why they shipped the game like this. It could have really used some more time in the oven. We get constant lag spikes. Dude, there are times where like I'll have situations where I'm firing at something and then like I'll get a lag spike and all of a sudden I'm like on a completely different end of the map. It's like really bad. And there are times where it actually really detracts from my enjoyment of the game. It's a good thing that the rest of the game is so good, because I'm telling you, if the game was worse, I would say fuck this. I don't want to play it.
And wait until it actually had the fucking yep.
Even as it is, I've debated on like I've had that thought cross my mind where I'm like fuck, like it's almost like hard to play. Like we've had so many situations where it has gotten in the way. Like I've either had crashes, I've been kicked from your game like multiple times.
Yep.
It's like I'm like, I don't understand how you guys shipped it in this state. And it's not just us, it's a consistent thing.
Yeah, and no, it's like they're making posts about it now. Oh, they're working like hard at it and shit. It's like, please hurry the fuck up.
It's just like the game is so good. It just needed more time in the oven. It was not ready for this launch. And it's just like, ugh. And I don't understand how like these reviewers, you know, they came out and they gave this game like amazing scores and stuff without really acknowledging all of these technical issues.
It's real shit. That's like crazy because like we didn't really hear about it at all, right?
Yeah, I mean, we heard about some stuff pre-release from people who like didn't get advanced copies of the game and stuff like that. But like a lot of these people are still scoring the game like 9s and stuff without really docking it points for the state that it was released in.
Yeah.
Because
I definitely would have docked some shit.
Yeah, because like the game is not in a good state right now. It's like it's rough, dude. And it's funny because like I've been really frustrated with like AAA video games this fall, because obviously now we're really into the thick of it with fall, and like we're getting into these big games that we've been really anticipating, and a lot of them have been underperforming on a technical level.
That's some real shit.
And like, dude, we're at the end of these console life cycles. This should be the point where we're getting like really quality games that run really, really well. You people have had years to understand this hardware. There's no reason these games should be released in this state. I think back to Gears 5. We talked about the technical issues we had with Gears 5 pre-release. It was rough, you know? And here we are with Borderlands, which is properly released. We're not even playing that ahead of time. It's out there.
Yeah, and it's just not good.
You're all playing the same version of Borderlands 3 that we are, and it's fucked up. It doesn't run well. There's frame dips, there's lag spikes, there's hard crashes. I mean, dude, I can't remember the last time a game on PlayStation hard crashed on me like Borderlands has.
That's real shit, dude. I honestly can't even like pinpoint a game that did that to me.
It's rough. It's in rough shape right now. And again, this is on a PS4 Pro. I'd shudder to think what it's like on a base PS4. And I have mine set to favor performance. It's not even like favor resolution.
No, dude, you know what it's... I think I saw something like a troubleshoot. Like it said like favor resolution.
Oh, God.
I think it dead ass said... I think I saw something like about that. And I just never even care to try it.
That shouldn't even be a thing. Oh, Lord.
I'm happy I had that little vat of information there, apparently.
Such a wreck. But again, like, if it weren't for that, if this game had released in a really workable, playable state, with all the improvements, all the quality of life stuff, all the story stuff that I've really been enjoying, I would have been like, this is already like one of my favorite games of the year. You know?
Real shit.
But they've released it in this state. It really kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth every time we play it. And again, I'm still having a great time. I'm having fun. You know, Borderlands is still Borderlands. It's still very fun. And the core of it, the core design of it is the best it's ever been. Like, I think that's easy to see. Between all the quality of life improvements and all the lore stuff, I think the core here is the best that Borderlands has ever seen. But you've released it in this fucked up technical state that has really put a dour on the whole experience for me. So, and then I do have one sort of like design problem with it, and that's the map. I don't really like the map. There have been more than a few situations where you and I have been lost, and like consulting the map will help, but like you kind of have to like
the fact I'm like dead ass sitting there like moving the map. I'm like, okay, it's on an upper level. Okay, let me see. No,
it's weird because the map kind of like layers on top of itself.
Yeah, it is like a 3D map in a way. In a weird 2.5 in a way.
Yeah. And it's funny because that's actually a complaint I have with the other game I've been playing this week, which I'll get to in a minute. But the map is a little bit frustrating, especially since like these open worlds, these open areas. I mean, really, the levels that you play in Borderlands 3, they're pretty big.
Yeah, they're pretty massive. Then those areas will have other areas
that are also pretty big, and you kind of need the map to navigate a lot of the time. And the map's like not that great. So I don't know. A little bit frustrating. I think the technical performance of all of this is the biggest sin of the game. Again, like you said, you're going into that fucking character menu so much, dude.
Uh-huh.
Every time I want to spend a skill point, it's like I have to clutch my rosary beads. For fuck's sake.
Real shit, dude.
It's like it's so sluggish. It's inexcusable. Thank God the game's good. Thank God the game's good. Anyway, that's pretty much what I have to say about Borderlands 3. I don't know if there's anything else you want to touch on.
I mean, honestly, I think we'll talk about it some more probably next week.
Definitely.
I'm actually looking forward to hearing about the game you've been playing because I've been curious about it.
Yeah, so I wanted a game to play kind of like in my downtime because obviously, again, the way our schedules have aligned, like we're only playing Borderlands with each other. So I wanted a game to kind of like take up my free time when I'm just solo. So I wanted something kind of big and meaty to sink my teeth into. And I thought, I was like, maybe I'll do like a single player run through of Gears 5 and do all the collectibles. And well, that didn't work out for me. I sat there and did the first like 2 chapters of Act 1, gathering all the collectibles. And then I was like, let me just make sure I didn't miss any. The game is still fucked. Mm-hmm. Like, even now, like 10 days off of the proper launch, the game is still fucked, where it's not saving any of my collectibles that I gathered. And I was like, oh, cool, I just wasted like 2 hours of my life. Great. And then I just basically said, fuck this game, and I don't think I've turned on my Xbox since. So yeah, that happened. Gears pissed me off. And I probably, honestly, at this point, I'm probably never going to replay that single player. I'm so turned off by it now. Like, again, what is with these games being released in this state, technically? Anyway, so what I ended up doing was I picked up Control, which is a game that I've wanted to play since it came out. And I ended up grabbing Control. It's the new game by Remedy, who obviously I'm a big fan of. They're known for Max Payne and Alan Wake and stuff like that. I'd heard a lot of really good things about it. The game was really well reviewed. Unfortunately, it seems like it kind of bombed. We'll get into that later. Sales-wise, it did not do very well. But, yeah, I'm probably like 5 hours into it so far. And I really like it. It's really good. It is a Remedy-ass Remedy game.
Okay.
It is, I think, by far the weirdest Remedy game.
Okay.
That they've done yet. Like, if you thought Alan Wake was weird, this is some weird-ass shit. Like, this game is like, Alan Wake at times felt a little obtuse and like, in a good way. I say all of this as a compliment because what I like about Remedy and Sam Lake's writing and stuff is it kind of has this, it's weird, but it kind of carries this like Twilight Zone Twin Peaks kind of vibe,
Yeah.
That was huge, and that was obviously a huge influence on Alan Wake, and it's still present here. And like here though, it's even stranger. So the kind of premise of the game is it follows the main character Jesse is the new director of the Federal Bureau of Control. And the Federal Bureau of Control is essentially like the secret FBI that handles like the paranormal activity in the world, basically.
Okay.
So all of the stuff, and it's actually interesting because a lot of the lore is found by dude. There's so many fucking collectibles in this game. Like there are collectibles every two like feet.
Oh Lord.
Like there are collectibles every fucking which way. Like I think there's literally like 300 collectibles in the game.
Oh fuck.
Luckily, to get the collectible trophy, you only need to collect like 120 of them. So, which, by the way, in just like the 5 or 6 hours I've played, I've already almost collected that many. Like, there are collectibles every fucking where. And it's all about, like, they all kind of, like, give you a little bit of a feel. It's, like, files and, like, personal correspondence and stuff between the employees of the FBC. And it kind of gives you a feel for what the FBC is and the way they operate. So, like, it's really interesting because a lot of the kind of urban legends by this game's lore, a lot of stuff like the Sasquatch and stuff is that kind of stuff was actually implanted by them to distract people from the real shit that's happening. You know what I mean? So like they actually kind of created a lot of these urban legends to distract folks from the actual weird shit. So a lot of that has to do with these mysterious objects of power, which are sort of like these mundane everyday items that have for some reason created these like extraordinary paranormal like rifts in reality. So like there is and these all kind of tie into the way that Jesse gains powers as the director, and you can get telekinesis and you can like lift things and throw things. You can eventually hover and kind of fly around. You can do evade dashes. You can actually turn enemies to your side to fight for you and stuff like that. It's really interesting. And the way that they don't overreach with the powers. Like there's only like 4 or 5 powers in the game. They don't go too crazy with it. But because they've really doubled down on just like a few powers, it feels really natural. Like they could have really gotten stupid about it and given you like 10 fucking powers and you don't use like half of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every single one of the powers you have feel good to use. And you find yourself using all of them in various situations. One thing I didn't expect about the game is the game is kind of open world a little bit. Like, the game is kind of a Metroidvania in a weird way.
Okay.
And I didn't expect it, and I'm not sure if I like it or not. I am not sure if I think that is to the game's benefit. So, there are, like, clearance levels that you unlock throughout the course of the game where you can now I'm clearance level 4 and I can go back and access this part of the fucking area. And there are like side missions that have you backtracking.
I don't know how I feel about that just hearing about it.
Yeah, I sort of would have preferred it if it was a more traditional like linear Alan Wake like experience, I think. But the positive side effect you get from that is it really goes to show you, so they call it the oldest house. The oldest house is like kind of the FBC headquarters. And the thing about the oldest house is it itself is like this constantly transforming massive structure, and nobody's really able to find it because it's always transforming, right? Okay. So that's the interesting thing about this is that it's this massive open area with many like levels and sectors to it that constantly transform. And a huge point of the game is you kind of like go through these different sectors and cleanse the control points, and those act as fast travel points, and that's where you can upgrade your weapons and stuff like that. That's actually something I should talk about. The service weapon, the weapon of the director, is really interesting. So it is you technically only get one weapon for the game, but the service weapon has many different like kind of modes. Like you kind of like choose a loadout of 2 kind of modes. So there is a shotgun kind of mode to it There's a pistol mode. There's a sniper mode. There's kind of a chain gun mode to it. And you pick any two for your loadout, and you press the square button to swap between them. And it's the same gun. The gun's like, it looks like the gun's made out of like Legos or something. It's like these like little like floating blocks, and they kind of like morph to the different modes. It's really cool. So right now, for example, I'm using like the pistol mode, and then like if I see a really powerful enemy, I'll swap really quick to the sniper, and I'll charge that up and polish them off and swap back.
Okay.
It has a really cool, like that creates a really cool flow of combat. And you can upgrade all of those. You can put weapon modifications to each of those different modes. There are personal modifications also. So like
I like a good flow of combat.
That's a really good flow of combat. And obviously in the middle of combat, you've got like energy that you can spend to use your kind of like powers. So like I'm constantly picking shit up and like throwing it at people. That's a really good strategy. Like throwing stuff at it with your telekinesis, that does a lot of damage.
Pick people up and throw them into walls?
Actually. So you can upgrade your abilities, and that is one of the upgrades, is to just straight up lift people when they're at low enough health. Just straight up pick them up.
And just fuck them up?
Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah, so I right now...
Unlimited!
Yeah. So right now I have the ability to like, I can catch, like if they shoot a rocket at me or throw a grenade at me, I can catch that.
That's baller.
Throw it right back at them. And then the next upgrade I can get is when they're low enough health, I can just straight up pick them up and throw them. So that's the kind of stuff that you can eventually upgrade to, and all of the abilities have stuff like that. So it's really cool. Again, I really like the way they've doubled down. The powers they all feel really good. Like, the gameplay, this is probably the best feeling Remedy game to play. Like, the only thing that I wish, the only improvement that I think they could make to the combat, is I wish there was a proper cover system.
Okay. Is it like, there's no cover system? You're just crouching next to some shit?
Yeah, you're just kind of crouching next to stuff, and like...
I like a good snap.
Yeah, well, I understand why they didn't do it. Because the big thing, and they even say this in like the loading screen tips, is they want you to be constantly moving. So that's like a huge kind of element to the game. You constantly have to move. You get this evade dash that's really helpful, and like, I don't know, that's all good, but like there's another element to it that I haven't touched on yet, is the fact that there is no regenerating health, which is kind of odd in today's society. Like modern game design kind of dictates that you have regenerating health. This game does not have regenerating health. The way that you get your health back is when you kill enemies, they will drop these little bits of source, which are like these little blue like crystals on the ground. And you can gather them. You can like run over and gather them. And if you get like a headshot, for example, they'll drop more of that. So it kind of incentivizes you to do better in combat. And if you need health, you kind of have to put yourself in harm's way to get it. Which is interesting. But the game is like, I've found myself in some pretty like tricky combat scenarios.
Okay.
Where I'm like, it's because the health is not regenerating, it's like kind of fucking hard. And I kind of respect that about the game. And further, like to kind of piggyback off of that, the game has no difficulty options. Like there's just one difficulty.
Get good.
Yeah, just so, I mean, I'm not saying the game is like super duper hard or anything like that, but the game is not
like you got to kind of learn the game to actually like get through it, and I respect the fuck out of that.
Yes, the game is the game, and it's like you can either get good at it or not. So I like that. There are also some interesting things. So there are kind of like, so you have the main missions, you have side missions that occasionally crop up. There are also things called bureau countermeasures, which are essentially kind of like they're kind of like rolling like passive missions. So like you can choose up to 3. You can pick them up at control points and choose up to 3, and basically it'll be something like kill 50 enemies without dying, or get 15 headshots with the pierce mode on your service weapon. Or like kill X amount of enemies in this sector or whatever. And it's sort of like passive little missions that you can do. And once you do them, you can go to a control point and turn them in for a reward. Right. So that's kind of interesting. There are also executive orders, which will just randomly crop up, and you'll have a timer on them, and it's like, hey, you have 20 minutes to get to this sector and take on this really powerful enemy that is over there. Like, I had one where it's like, hey, you have 20 minutes to get over to this area, and you have to clear out all of these people, and by the way, their health is constantly regenerating. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. And you get rewards for doing that too. So there's a lot to the game, man. There's a surprising amount of depth to this game. The big issue that I think a lot of people had with this game, kind of when it came out, was performance. Mm-hmm. Again, going back to the performance discussion, like, a lot of people had issues with like frame rate dips. There has since been a performance patch for the game, like patch 103 or whatever, and to be honest, I have not had any significant performance issues during my time with the game.
That's good.
Like,
it means they kind of got the big shit out the way.
They definitely did, because there is I heard people talking about this where when you pause the game for a long time and then unpause it, it kind of chugs for a couple of seconds and then it kind of catches up. I've seen that a little bit, but other than that, I really have not had any. Even there's a scene in the game, it's called the atrium. People call it the atrium scene. There's like this big atrium area, and they kind of throw a lot of fucking enemies at you. Like, you're probably fighting 20 to 30 enemies in that area. Okay. And when the game first came out, that was where people were like, oh shit, like, this is dipping into like the 15, 20 frame range. You know what I mean? And I'm playing on a PS4 Pro, and I did that section. Every time I go there and I fight enemies there, I don't have any perceivable frame drops at all. So they really have... The game is in a really, really solid state now in terms of like performance. Like, I have not had any significant issues at all. And the game is beautiful. Like, graphically. You played Quantum Break, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Quantum Break is a really good visual touchstone. I think the game kind of looks similar to Quantum Break. And Quantum Break looked great.
Yeah, Quantum Break looked very good. Like, they basically, like the actors playing the characters, like, yeah.
Yeah, they've done some stuff with like the facial animations in this that are really kind of like, wow, like you guys really, it looks almost real. It kind of uncanny valley a little bit. And of course, this is a Remedy game, so you know there are two things that you know are going to happen with a Remedy game. There's going to be FMV. and there's gonna be Poets of the Fall. That's basically what you know from a Remedy game, and both of those things are present here. So actually, they had a couple of I've actually encountered a couple of Poets of the Fall songs, and they're both very good.
Very good.
Very fucking good.
I might have to look it up, just even if I don't. I do want to play that game, but even if I don't play it, I'm definitely down to hear some new Poets.
I gotta be honest with you, like I actually wholeheartedly recommend the game. It is one of the more gratifying gaming experiences I've had so far this year, and it's weird. It's really fucking weird. Like, be prepared for that. But like, if you're a fan of Remedy games, if you're a fan of like Alan Wake, I think you kind of know if you're on board for Remedy's weirdness or not.
It's real shit.
Like, me personally, I like it. Like, I kind of like the kind of like ambiguous story, this sort of like, because here's the deal, dude. You get to the end of Alan Wake and everybody's like, he's like, it's not a lake, it's an ocean. It's like, oh, but you don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
You don't even know what the fuck that means.
But that level of like confusion, that level of like narrative, like ambiguity, is what we love about Remedy games, I think.
I'm still laughing at it.
Just like, oh shit, we don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So,
oh fuck.
Control's the same way, where it's like, I don't know what's going on, and I'm so happy. That's basically like blissful confusion is how I would describe Control's story. I really like it. And it's just, it's a Remedy-ass Remedy game. It plays really well. They've patched it to where now it runs really well. I'm playing on PS4 Pro. It runs really well. And looks beautiful. I really can't recommend it enough. I like it a lot. So, Control has been that perfect kind of game to play in my lonesome. And maybe I'll talk about it more as I progress. Like after I beat it, maybe I'll report back and talk about it a little bit more. But for now, Todd, if you're ready, let's move into the news.
Let's go.
So we've got NPD data for the month of August. So as always, Todd, let's, as tradition dictates here on Nerd Bourbon, let's go over some of the interesting parts. So before I get into it, first of all, August 2019, as the NPD reports, represents an 18% decrease across the board in consumer spending, which is the lowest numbers the month of August has seen in over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Since 1998. This is basically the lowest spending in August. So yeah, yikes. The top 10 selling games of the month of August were in order. Number 1, Madden NFL 20, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Super Mario Maker 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mortal Kombat 11, Rainbow Six Siege, and Astral Chain. So, as you can see by that list, only half of the top 10 were games that were even released this year. Half of the top 10 were also made up of Switch exclusive titles, and the Nintendo Switch was also the best-selling hardware in August, yet again, kind of retaining its streak. And with the Switch Lite coming out in September, you can guarantee that it's going to be the best-selling console of September as well. So the Switch at this point is, I think, on like a 6-month streak of being the best-selling hardware month after month or something like that. So Switch is doing very well. Sadly, as I kind of mentioned, Remedy's Control seems to have bombed. In spite of its glowing critical response, the game reviewed really, really well. And as I've spent the past several minutes talking about, the game's really good. The game failed to penetrate even the top 20. So yeah, the game has not even made the top 20 in the worst selling month in video games in 20 years. So the game kind of clearly bombed. It should be noted that Control came out at the very end of August, but so did Astral Chain. And Astral Chain made it into the top 10.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, Astral Chain came out 3 days after Control.
Yeah.
So Control did not do well. It is unlikely that Control sold well at all. It actually might even stand to be Remedy's worst selling game to date.
Oof.
Yeah. Which is sad. It's sad because like that's kind of the story with Remedy. Like Remedy makes these great games
and nobody plays them.
And nobody buys them. Yeah, they become cult classics and people play them later. But nobody's there for them at launch. You know, and so that's why there's a part of me, and I don't necessarily think it would be a great idea for Sony to buy Remedy, but there's a part of me that kind of hopes they do. Like there's a part of me that kind of hopes that Sony just like take them, shepherd them. Keep them safe.
Show them the way.
Yeah, keep them safe at all costs. I almost feel like Remedy, like, you get a little bit of a first party bump. You know what I mean? Like when you're an exclusive title, you get a little bit of that bump. Which, I mean, you could say that on one hand, but then on the other hand, it's like, well, Alan Wake was an Xbox exclusive, and so was Quantum Break, and that didn't really do anything for them. So
I mean, we played both of those.
Yeah, so it's like it's like if that didn't really do anything for them, is Sony picking them up and making them a first party studio? Is that really going to do anything?
It's an interesting question.
It's unclear. Part of me kind of hopes they do because I want Remedy. I mean, Remedy's an old studio, dude. That studio is like 20 plus years old.
Yep.
And I want to see them stay around because I really like their games, but I'm almost like maybe Remedy's games are just too fucking weird for people. Like, I love their weirdness, but maybe that's, maybe it's too much. I don't know. We'll certainly keep an eye on this. We'll see. Maybe it pops in somewhere in the month of September. Maybe once word of mouth kind of picks up. Maybe people were afraid of like the performance issues, and now that it's patched, maybe the game will start selling some copies. I don't know. It's a bummer. Finally, the best-selling games of the year so far are in order: Mortal Kombat 11, Kingdom Hearts 3, Madden NFL 20, The Division 2, Anthem, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Days Gone. So those are the top 10 best-selling games of the year so far. Mortal Kombat 11 taking that number 1 spot. I'm actually surprised that Anthem has not dropped off more than it has. I suspect as we get into the fall, Anthem's probably going to settle in towards the bottom of the list. Also, Days Gone at number 10, it's probably going to fall off next month.
Yep.
I don't expect to see Days Gone still in the running next month. And of course, there are games like Madden and GTA 5. Those are just always going to be there. But, I mean, look, you say what you will about Anthem. That game sold really fucking well. For that game to still be the 5th best-selling game of the year.
Because we all hoped, goddammit.
Dude, that's the 5th best-selling game of the year. I don't think it's been in the top 10 selling games of the month since it came out.
Yep.
But it's still held on. That game must have had a phenomenal launch. Just saying.
I'm telling you, we all hoped, all right? I didn't buy it, technically.
And by the way, that game is basically, dead now.
It's dead as fuck.
So... yeah, so that's the NPD for the month of August.
Did they even come out with the big old fucking event?
I think they delayed it, and then I think they technically released it and wasn't good.
Oh god,
I can't remember. But from what I understand, Anthem has got literally a skeleton crew working on it.
Good night, BioWare.
And everybody else is all hands on deck for Dragon Age 4, from what it sounds like.
Trying to save BioWare.
So, yeah. Yep.
It's fucking EA is just sitting there and just polishing the gun.
Yeah, just polishing that shotgun. Just get that Dragon Age 4 ready.
I don't even want... Not a shotgun. I want it to be something classy, like a Desert Eagle.
How's that Dragon Age 4 coming along? It's good. Everybody's working on it, sir.
Oh... Better make me some money.
Well, I mean, look, Anthem made them money, clearly.
That's why, I guess what? That's why they're still alive.
That's why they bought themselves a little time.
Is it fucked up that I think that's legitimately the only reason BioWare is not closed? Because that actually sold super well.
It did well enough to buy them some time, for sure. So.
Oh, they're knocking at the fucking... they're knocking at the door right now, though.
They better, Dragon Age 4 better come out swinging. So anyway, that's NPD for August. Again, lowest numbers that the month of August has seen since '98. That's crazy to me. Not a lot of consumer spending. Honestly, August was kind of a light month for video game releases anyway. But, obviously people are kind of saving their money for the big releases in September. September's a fucking crazy month, so...
Yep.
September's NPD will be interesting, and of course, Todd, we will be reporting it here on the show when it's available. So I got a little bit more sales data, just real quick. Not from the NPD, but I did want to say, so Microsoft has revealed that with over 3 million players since its release, Gears 5 had the biggest launch of a first-party Xbox title since Halo 4.
Oh, nice.
I mean, nice, but... It's worth noting that it also essentially is the first-party launch title since Halo 4.
Oh, God, is it?
Not
That's
literally.
Funny.
Not literally. Halo 5's come out since then. Sea of Thieves and Crackdown 3, I guess, have come out since then.
Oh, that's right. Microsoft doesn't come out with video games. Not yet.
But that's about it. So I don't think that really is saying that much. However, this is according to Xbox Wire. Gears 5, quote, easily doubled the first week's debut of Gears of War 4, making it the biggest launch week of any Xbox Game Studios title this generation. So, the Gears 5 has done very well. And these numbers were tracked from the early access launch of the game on September 6th throughout its launch weekend. So yeah, Gears 5's done really well. No surprises there. I've got some Pokemon news, Todd. Two items of Pokemon news here on my news list. First things first, let's talk about this. History was made this week, Todd. It has been an important week. It's taken 22 long years. But Ash Ketchum has finally earned the title of Pokemon League champion.
Yeah, I did see that.
in the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime. So yeah, since 1997, Ash has been repeatedly defeated in the various Pokemon Leagues, including his last attempt, which saw him come in second place. So yeah, he's finally done it. He's the Pokemon League champion.
So, I swear to God, I saw some funny shit. It's like a Thanos meme.
Yeah, where they make fun of the art style.
Yeah, it's like, what did it cost?
The art style. I mean, the show looks ugly now.
Here's the thing. No, from what I understand is like where they took the hit on that is like with that dog shit. The actual animation is more fluid from what I understand.
That's what I understand too. It's just the you know what it is. The human characters don't look good.
Yeah, they look weird as fuck to me, dude. I don't like it. I haven't watched. I haven't watched the fucking Pokemon show in like God knows how long.
But hey, it's cool that they finally let the man win. 22 years, dude.
84 years.
Yeah. So this historic event aside, it does leave fans wondering, where do we go from here? Where does the anime really go now that Ash is the Pokemon League champion? We know there is at least one movie that is coming out next year, but they have not confirmed anything for the next kind of like leg of the anime.
Yeah.
So could it be possible that the anime is just going to end now? Or are they going to just like follow a new protagonist or something maybe? I don't know. It's kind of interesting. You think about how long that anime has been running, and now that he finally has become the very best, Todd, like no one ever was. So it's like, where do you go now? Are we still really going to be following Ash? It's weird.
It'd be kind of interesting to kind of like follow somebody different.
I sort of feel like that's what they have to do. Maybe the Sword and Shield anime is going to be a completely different... I mean, it's a completely different region. There's really no reason.
I mean, I feel like Ash could show up, but
right.
as like a side character sort of thing. Like,
there would be no reason really for Ash to go to the Galar region.
No, not at all.
So if they're going to do a Sword and Shield anime, I think it would make sense if they follow a completely different protagonist. So
show the new protagonist like watching Ash win.
Right.
Type of shit.
That'd be a good first scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good first scene to really segue.
And that like inspires him, inspires like the new protagonist or whatever the fuck.
Right.
That'd be the way to go.
So I guess we'll see. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but I'm sure we'll hear about that soon. Kind of piggybacking off of that, further Pokemon news is something that we both have already talked about at length because the internet has been ablaze, that a new Pokemon has been revealed. It is a version exclusive to Pokemon Sword, and it is Surfetch'd, a Galar region exclusive evolution of the leak-carrying Farfetch'd, who is, of course, a Gen 1 Pokemon. Todd, what do you think about Surfetch'd?
I mean, I will get him because of you, but...
Yes.
I enjoy the shit out of him.
Bro, the second I saw him, I was like, he's on my team.
I'm ready to see the Shield exclusive because that's the version I'm getting. So
yeah, so I do have some thoughts about that I want to get into because like they have not, of course, released you're almost certainly going to have like a Shield version exclusive to kind of piggyback off of that. I'm sure we'll hear about that shortly. But yeah, Surfetch'd, Sword exclusive. He holds his leek. Of course, Farfetch'd is famous for carrying that leek. He holds it like a massive like sword.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses his leaves kind of like as a shield. It's really cool looking. Interestingly, according to the official website, it seems like the Surfetch'd evolution cannot be attained by regular means.
Oh.
Because, quote, only Farfetch'd that have survived many battles can attain this evolution, end quote.
The fuck does that mean?
So I'm like, does this mean that maybe like you can only evolve a Farfetch'd into a Surfetch'd if you like win a certain amount of battles without fainting? Maybe.
Interesting.
That would be really cool. Like if they're kind of introducing like passive kind of evolution mechanics into this game, where rather than just it simply being experience based or like using the right stone, you actually have to do certain things with this Pokemon to get it to evolve.
Interesting.
That would be really fucking cool. So, Surfetch'd is a straight fighting type, which is very different from Farfetch'd, who is a normal and flying type. He's also got an exclusive move, which is called Meteor Assault. So I've got the kind of like breakdown from the official website. It says, quote, Meteor Assault is a new move introduced in these games that only Surfetch'd can learn. Surfetch'd points its leek at the opponent and charges towards them at great speed. This move is devastatingly powerful. However, it appears that the move also puts great strain on Surfetch'd, and it will be unable to take action immediately after using this move. So, it seems like it's going to be like a real like motherfucker move, but then you're going to have to kill your next turn basically as he recovers from using it. So, and we've kind of seen like a clip of him using it, and the animation's really cool. It's anime as fuck. I love it. So, this is my thought. So, Obviously, they have not revealed the kind of like going tit for tat with this for like a Shield version exclusive that we're almost certainly going to get before the game comes out on November 15th. It's worth noting, I have this thought here. Stick with me. We reported on this a while ago. They revealed that each version of the game is going to have a version exclusive gym leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for Pokemon Sword, the version exclusive gym leader Bia, or whatever, however you pronounce it, she is a fighting type gym leader.
Mm.
And Sirfetch'd is a straight fighting type Pokemon. So Pokemon Shield's exclusive gym leader specializes in ghost types. So I'm thinking maybe it's possible that Shield's kind of like answer to Sirfetch'd is going to be a ghost type Pokemon.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
That's a pretty good leap in logic, though. I actually respect that.
And there are people who are like, oh, maybe it's going to be kind of another kind of... Because the thing about Farfetch'd is Farfetch'd has always been kind of an underrated Pokemon who's actually really good. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people are like, people kind of sleep on Farfetch'd. He's actually a really good Pokemon that is underused. He gets the aerial ace move like really, really early. And he's a favorite for people who do like Nuzlocke runs because he's really powerful at a really kind of early level. So Sirfetch'd is probably going to be, piggybacking off of that, he's probably going to be a really strong Pokemon. And a lot of people are kind of like, I hope that the Shield kind of combatant to this is another underrated Pokemon. Like a badass version of an underrated Pokemon.
What would be an underrated ghost type, though?
Well, here's the deal. It's not going to be a ghost type to start.
It doesn't actually have to be a ghost. It could dead ass be
because Farfetch'd was not a fighting type to start. So a lot of people want Dunsparce, the little bug piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's like a little bug snake guy. A lot of people are pointing to Shuckle, which I would love that because Shuckle is one of my favorite Pokemon. If they made Shuckle like a badass ghost type, and he's like he's got like his shell is like a big ass shield.
Now, do you think they're gonna go for Gen 1 Pokemon?
That's possible. It's possible that it could be another Gen 1 Pokemon. I don't know. But either way, I'm really curious to see where they go with it. I'm really curious, and if it ends up being a ghost type Pokemon, I will claim that hashtag Seth was right.
That'd be a pretty fucking good. Seth was right.
So yeah, either way, of course, you're getting Pokemon Shield, I'm getting Pokemon Sword. It doesn't matter to us. We will be able to trade accordingly, the version exclusive. So either way, everything that they release about Pokemon Sword and Shield just gets me more and more excited. Todd, the first 3 games in the legendary Dragon Quest series are making their way to Switch this month. It was originally announced for release in Japan, but Square confirmed this week that the titles will make their way westward on September 27th. So that's pretty cool. I think I'm probably going to pick that up, honestly. I know you're not a big JRPG guy.
The only JRPG I somewhat enjoyed was Ni no Kuni.
Ni no Kuni, which comes out today, actually. On Switch and PS4.
The day this goes live, or the day we're recording
this? The day this goes live, yeah.
Okay.
So tomorrow, the day we're recording this. September 20th. So perhaps the best thing about this is that they're actually releasing these for surprisingly cheap. Square is kind of like infamous for kind of releasing these games like really expensive, but these are actually pretty cheap. So the first game is going to cost $4.99. Dragon Quest II is going to cost $6.49, and Dragon Quest III will cost $12.49. So for the folks counting at home, that's a little less than $25 for all 3 games. Not bad, Todd. Not bad at all.
That's reasonable.
I think I'm going to grab them just to have them on my Switch. It's a really cool idea. I really hope that they end up porting a lot of these good old Square games. Like, I would die if they port Chrono Trigger to the Switch. That's all I want, really. I want to support this. Bring on more old Square games. Of course, they've been good about Final Fantasy, so. Sony has announced that the next PlayStation State of Play will air on Tuesday, September 24th at 1 p.m. Pacific. That's 3 p.m. for us here in Central Time. So that's happening. They say that they've prepared a hefty show coming in at around 20 minutes and, quote, sporting a fresh new look. They're promising, quote, new game reveals, new content from PlayStation's worldwide studios, and a host of other updates, end quote. Although they do stress that you should not expect any news regarding their next-generation plans in this episode.
Okay.
Now, it's worth noting, Todd, I mentioned this, I think, last week on the show. This is happening the same day that Naughty Dog's media event for The Last of Us Part 2 is happening, so I think a release date reveal for The Last of Us 2 is virtually assured at this point.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think it's pretty much gonna happen at this point. I got one more piece of news here before we end the show, and this is something I wanted to talk to you about because you're a fitness guy. You work out. You got a home gym. You're a fitness guy.
My roles say otherwise.
But you enjoy a good workout.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what you might have to say about Ring Fit Adventure. Have you actually looked at this yet?
I have not. We actually take a look at it.
So here's the deal. It looks kind of cool. So Ring Fit Adventure is that weird kind of like fitness-based peripheral project that we talked about a couple of weeks on the show from Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So it's got this big ring that they're calling the Ring Con. It's essentially this large ring that you slide your Joy-Con into, and it's got a leg strap that you put your other Joy-Con into. And it's like this like adventure RPG where you work out while you play. Traversing the world requires you to kind of jog in place. Combat requires you to perform like various exercises or like yoga stances in order to properly attack your enemies. And like defending against enemy attacks requires you to like press the ring against your abs. And the whole time you're like earning experiences, leveling up, collecting items in the world. It's actually kind of interesting. I'm kind of into it.
I'm watching. I kind of respect this dumb shit.
It's kind of cool. And it actually sounds like the game is pretty long. Nintendo actually estimates that if you play the game for an hour a day, it's going to take you between 3 and 4 months to play through the single-player campaign.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of down for this in a weird way.
And it's cool, too, because they actually... my wife and I were looking at this, and they have a kind of like quiet mode that you can turn on where the workout routines will adjust themselves to where you're not doing a full jog. You can kind of do half steps. For people like us, we live in an apartment, so we can't...
Yeah, be a little fucking ignorant.
Yeah, we can't just like stomp and shit, So it'll like exclude like loud exercises, which is really nice and a really thoughtful addition. And you can adjust like the resistance that the Ring Con gives you. Like it really is catered to people of all types. If people have not worked out in a long time, if people have never worked out, if people are like they work out all the time and they just want a little extra something. I think this would be a really cool game to play on off days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you worked out hard the day before and you just want a little light workout the next day, turn on Ring Fit Adventure. Go through the story a little bit.
I'm kind of down for this. Like, when is this coming out?
This comes out in October. It's going to be $80. It comes with the game and the, of course, the Ring Con and the leg strap. So, looks kind of cool. And even if the core game, even if the single-player story or whatever is not quite your speed, it does have a selection of mini-games.
Yeah, quick play mini-games.
Yeah, so, like, if you wanted to play the mini-games, you could, like, take your Switch and pop it out into the living room, play it with your parents or whatever. You can even... customize like you can even have like a customizable routine and like take like workout sets that you can customize and put into a routine that you can like lay out, and they have sets that are like different depending on what you're trying to work out. And they even go a step further, so the IR sensor that is on I think the right Joy-Con can detect your pulse, and it can get a seemingly accurate readout of how many calories you've burned while you're working out.
Mm-hmm.
So, really interesting. Like, part of me kind of wants to get this.
I think I'm going to.
Like, it would be really fascinating to, like, compare results and stuff on the show. Let me get an exact release date for that so far. It's October, I want to say 18th. Yeah, October 18th it's coming out. $80 Ring Fit Adventure. And I actually really like the design of the...
Can I say, like, what the top comment of this is?
What?
Just wait till some Asian dude beats Dark Souls with that thing.
Some real shit. I'm sitting here. I'm like, just wait until that character makes it into Smash.
Oh Lord, that's yeah.
I kind of like the design of that character, by the way.
Yeah,
kind of looks cool. And I like the design of the enemies, and like the world is like kind of pretty.
I'm kind of down for this.
I'm
so I was
kind of
like,
into it.
Yeah,
I don't know. And like they show off various things. Like you can there's like archery that you can do using the Ring-Con. I don't know, man. I like it when Nintendo does weird shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is definitely some weird shit.
I think it would be so cool if like we both played this and like kind of like talked about our stories playing Ring Fit Adventure. I don't know. I'm into it. Anyway, that's what I've got this week, Todd. Unless there's anything else you wanted to add.
No, I think that's about it.
All right. We'll catch you guys next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.